First, in Buenaventura, a social score that doesn't end.
Deserted streets, closed doors, shops loose, silent rise. Most flames before the arrival of drunk traffickers and rebels who settle in their homes. The war for the loot of cocaine is in pay towns in the Colombia Pacific. The people who stay are Senfai, Trend, Square, and they are resisted because they prefer today and they home not outside bank. Diego Portocarrero of the hundred of displaced people who fled the reside town of La Colonia Tars, AFP, are centered in the city of Buenaventura, the main port of the
What is the first problem for which violence persists in Buenaventura?
The main problem is due to its structure. Buenaventura, being economically strategic city for the legal and illegal, generates a strong dynamic of victimization that made the uploads that are resilient to different economic cities in the city, and from here generates a dynamic violence both to civilians to the electorate and my them, as is happening at this time. Now, it is one of the many pits of violence and perhaps it is enhanced. Here, there were times when many massacres were committed and the figure excited 200 and 300 deaths per year, and areas these are the most opulent for growth aside the land.
No, even good people are affected. They take advantage of them to ask for money for their crime, and if they don't collaborate, they are murdered. Many people have to leave the city or even they could throw the country. They even store clothing and make buses and all the others. They even fight the community with fear for 2 weeks. They didn't even leave the house and only those who were left. I don't know with what intention they didn't, but they were that point. The police did nothing for the violence. They allowed it by receiving money not be captured. Good people also seek solution with the police, but since they are treated with death if they say what is happened. That is why no one dares to tell what has happened, for fear of being assassinated. Violence is an intentional use of physical force which leaves very serious damage to people. This damage are not only physical, it also affects mental health. Physically damaging the person, causing depression, anxiety disorders, and in more serious cases, it causes death. Death of the person thanks to violence. Violence can be perceived in many ways: domestic violence, physical violence, emotional violence. The most common causes of violence are alcoholism, intolerance, ignorance. Violence also plays very negative role in society. It destroys well-being and integrity of the people who live in affectation and causes the emergence of new violence, some more silent than others, but that does not chance that is negative for society. Violence has always been present in society in one way or
think that poverty, exclusion from labor, capital, or land markets, and social inequalities are radical causes of violence, but there are also immediate causes, such as the failure of management of status and institutional corruption. And the urban poor management, lack of planning of cities, can lead to conflict of territory, economics, and social. That can lead to violence. Also, armed conflicts and wars generate a lack of job opportunities. Violation the fundamental human rights such as life, condition of extreme poverty, underlying the outbreaks of urban violence. Monitor public places such as schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods, and take action to address problems that can lead to violence, as well as public awareness of violence, encourage community actions, install systems, and protect the victims. And face the inequalities between sexes and adverse cultural attitudes and practice. Pay attention to the most general cultural, social, and economic factors that contribute to violence and take measures to modify them.
It is true that violence is everywhere in Colombia, but there are places that are in worse condition with violence, especially Buenaventura. There are areas or neighborhoods that are dangerous or difficult to live in. It may be due to lack of security. And violence does affect education because in order to receive allocations, you have to leave the house to go to school, and there the student run the risk of going through danger of losing their living. For these same reasons, parents prevent their children from going outside and getting educations for fear of losing their children getting into endless trouble. While the violence remains the same, we don't have a guarantee of normal life, of formal educations. Perhaps there were students who left to receive an education, but when taught a scared that marked their life. It is sad, but it's true. It's literally. They return with it, or that they never return alive. We as students have the right to receive a worthy study and deserve, and hoping to get ahead of overcoming violence and poverty that affect us and prevent us from having a normal home and living a quiet education.
The dropout rate in Buenaventura is 17% according to the CIMAT integrated registration system, which organizes and controls the enrollment process in the country, and Buenaventura is below average. In the Saber Pro 11 test, 15 of 45 educational institutions have general average below 200, and private school has 244 points out of 500. Today, academic activities are interrupted in some institutions due to shootings, violent acts, mass displacement, forced disappearance, armed actors as invisible borders. Even in 2022, the situation has not improved. If the state does not promote public policies that improve the above problems, this will lead to the following consequence: low quality of education, low educational coverage, poor infrastructure, inadequate environments, affectation of identity and cultural integrity, poor coexistence and intolerance in educational space, high levels of desertion, high levels of unemployment, low levels of professional qualification of the population of Buenaventura, discontinuity in educational processes, deficiency of effective result of education in accordance with his social purpose.
Whether of greater or lesser intensity, but it has always been present. The effect that being victims of violence has on people has implications for physical respect, community, legal and political living as a result. A person affected in their physical or mental health.
In conclusion, the state has to solve the following challenge. A. Guarantee and expand educational coverage in a progressive, sustainable, and effective manner at all levels. B. Make the investment and create the necessary conditions to improve and guarantee quality. Execute the pertinent institutional programs and projects in school retention and permanence. Promote what is related to the strengthening of school coexistence and the construction of a culture of peace. Improve and expand school infrastructure. Implementation of the single working day in the territory. Support in scientific research and technological development.
Good afternoon. My name is Martinez, and I'm going to talk to you about how violence affects sports. So let's start. This day we have seen that the press has made mention of certain acts of violence that have been carried by parents with children. Play at friendly sports competitions, which under no circumstance should have given rise to a dismissal of violence, such as those that occur. But why is this happening? Sports in general and the as such should be possibly valued as a healthy and necessary activity. But what happens is we use it in a preparatory to unleash and, or impulses and take refuge in it so that our frustrations and the negative charge from our charge resulting from our stress come like a reverse. And we have no stupid to think in what our children will think also see if they see us like this overhand affect to an on this unexpected level, possibly they will not recognize us. Perhaps they even feel guilty about what is happening, and sometimes we can even serve as a model so that they cannot deem this uncontrollable and negative weight and order for everyone.
My name is Ruth. Why does violence affect business? Today, there are many factors, however, it will focus on extortion, which has been a problem that directly affects the Bonaverense community. The role of criminals is to force and intimidate people with ideas to hand them an income whenever. They require the act has seen extortion can occur directly and indirectly in order to carry out his criminal plans. Mm, Sometimes if the owner of the business does not what they ask for, they then and for, and generally they have district. Conclusion: the government should give money for the creation and the community obtains a livelihood in a dignified manner as well as provide free education opportunities for all the courses that illness subsidize private university or find a method in the one that um, all of the stories what they develop once and I don't know was frustrated by lack of money on the other. Um, Hence, the parent and time must be aware of the defeat of the community so that these situations of violence does not continue to occur. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, my name is Flor. Why is there violence in Buenaventura? The structural problem is due to the fact that Buenaventura, being an economically strategic city for the legal and the illegal, generates a strong dynamic of victimization that makes the around groups that are related to different economic sectors in the city. And from here generates violent dynamic to the territory and among them as happening right now. Second question. What should we do that these acts of violence are not related? The first thing I want is to refer to the condition of pain. We have to do a very important job in recovering valuables between families' homes. At home, we families are raising our young people, and what are those lessons that we are giving them to guarantee that despite the facon opportunities crime is not the first path they choose. The second thing is that as criticism of Buenaventura we must surround our institution and for greater technical and financial support from the national and departmental order. Finish. Conclusion. The call to unity, we must rescue the vacuum installed in our young people in each of the homes so that later they can be good people. Finish.
How does violence influence education? Violence has a negative influence on education in Buenaventura since young people and children are afraid to go to their schools and university because of conflicts between our groups, invisible burdens, and insurance, since many have been physically affected and most have lost their life in their effort. What are some of the cases? First, the Colombian state has not invested enough to guarantee the minimum condition of development, public service, and social infrastructure. Second, the geographical location is strategic for illicit activities and a geopolitical problem such as drug trafficking.